Shalom and blessings, warriors of Yahuwah and the truth. We are now on video 9 of Wormwood, the secret of lawlessness in one word. We are on Sunday. Yesterday we talked about Shabbat and how it was altered by Hashatan. Okay, Sunday, day 1. From Latin dies solis, the day of the sun. Since Babylon was established, pagans have worshipped the sun. Here's a few of the names they've used. Baal, which means Lord, Bel, Shamash, Moloch, Ahura Mazda, Dagon, Sol, Marduk, Mithras, Krishna, Amon-Ra, Atan, Woden, or Odin, or Adonis, it means the same thing, Zeus, Deus, and the Druid, or Teutonic God. You will call the Pharaoh and Kaiser or Caesar, Khazar or Tsar, were worshipped as the sun's offspring, you will recall. This pattern began with the first king, Nimrod. Worship of the heavenly host. The worship of the sun, moon, planets, and stars was the pattern for the Babylonians. Persians, Chaldeans, Egyptians, or Mitzrites, Greeks, Romans, Celts, Mayans, Aztecs, and Indians. They were turned over to worship the host of heaven, Mazzaroth. See Acts 7:42. The governments were the religion. If they were good pagans, at death they would be transported to the skies, or heaven, to live with their deities. This was called Nirvana, Shambhala, or Elysian Fields. The Roman consul or Emperor Constantine I gave us the term Sunday, which referred to the day honoring Sol Invictus Mithras. The unconquerable sun Mithras. This Mithras was the Persian term for Apollo. Here's a coin minted by Constantine showing Apollo and Constantine together. Oh, I'm sorry, right there. In 321 CE, he decreed, under the penalty of death, that all artisans, merchants, and people of his empire cease work on the venerable day of the sun to honor Mithras or Apollo. This was a universal edict and is still enforced in our Western culture with our blue laws. Interestingly, the government phone numbers are printed on blue pages in our U.S. phone books. It was a weekly ritual on sun worshippers to assemble at dawn on this day to greet the sun at its rising. Okay, this was a universal edict and is still enforced in our Western culture with our blue laws. Interestingly, okay, I read that part. I apologize. The phone messed me up. Okay, a great pillar or sun ray obelisk was the solar religion's primitive high place, condemned as a pillar of jealousy. Secretly, esoterically, interpreted as a male fertility symbol. Tower designs such as steeples, pagodas, turrets, ziggurats, minarets, spires, obelisks, and pyramids are forbidden by Yahuwah. The temple did not have a high place, nor do any buildings where Yahuwah's people come together. Sacred pillars of jealousy were to be demolished. Yahuwah hates them. These pagan high places would receive the first hallowed rays of dawn in the primitive cultures. Bells were rung by hand, as in a shaker grid, and large ones were struck with oak logs swung horizontally. Now, this reminds me of something that was very odd that the news was asking people to do during the COVID virus. They were asking people to go outside and clang pans together, and they were all supposed to do it at the same time. I didn't hear about it when they called for this to happen, but I heard about it later on, and I found it to be very strange. It sounds just like this. Gongs struck with hammers were especially fun for the Oriental pagan, but they also used the familiar bell shape. 2. In the book The Conquest of Peru, Prescott is an eyewitness to blatant sun worship. The Inca would assemble at dawn eagerly. They watched the coming of the deity, and no sooner did his first yellow rays strike the turrets than a shout of gratulation broke forth from the assembled multitude. The wild tunes from barbaric instruments swelled louder and louder as his bright orb shone in full splendor on his votaries. You can find this at fossilizedcustoms.com/sundayorigins.html. Also, I have a whole video series of the book Sunday Origins. The Romans considered anyone who did not worship the sun to be an atheist and a traitor, since Caesar was the sun enthroned in a man. Foreign beliefs found some tolerance in the Edict of Milan, 313 CE. Religion, politics, and sports were all different facets of the same thing, a means of controlling the behavior of a captive population. A nation can be thought of as a huge neighborhood gang, but with boundaries that end where another gang's boundaries begin. Thugs rule all the citizens. If you get out of line, those in control feel their power over you slipping. Sunday is one of their biggest promotions. Mona, or the moon day, is day 2. Love you, babe. Yeah.
Oh, I better put that back.
Roscoe. Yes, he's not.
Oh, Roscoe, come on.
The Old English term was Monanday,
No.
as translated from Latin, where Mona means moon.
Just makes sense.
Love you.
Love you too. Oh, yeah. Sorry, everyone. We got woke up last night. Someone was being disrespectful. It's kind of sad. Sorry. We're off today.
Yeah. Mona Lisa means moon lily. We get our word month or month from Mona. The 29.5-day orbital cycle, but the second weekday is named what it is because it has been dubbed the moon's day. This is why we call the days of the week by numbers, babe. The moon.
Sunday is the first day of the week, but everyone keeps thinking, oh no, it's not the last day. No, it's not the first day.
Yeah, I know.
I keep trying to tell people, Saturday is the end of the week. Sunday is the beginning of it.
Yeah, but people don't listen.
No, people still think that it's Monday. It's Sunday.
They even tried to mess it up on the calendar.
Well, it's funny because you want to know what?
Huh.
Most people take Friday and Saturday off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's their weekend. But we'll work Sunday.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people will. But people still want to say, oh, no, Saturday and Sunday are the weekend. I'm sorry, but I've always thought Sunday was the beginning of the week. Even when I was a kid, I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's because the way it you know, I don't know.
I've gotten a calendar book where it started the week with Monday.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy.
So look, though. It actually starts with Sunday. No, the calendar
And the actual calendar shows Sunday as the first day.
Yeah, Sunday is the first day on the calendar.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to interrupt,
okay.
you know, because we get into conversations here. Sorry, no one can see me. I apologize. I'm going to be leaving so you can be read. But on the calendar, everybody looks. Sunday is the beginning of on the calendar. You would assume that that's the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
And Saturday is the end of that week. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just rambling on, I guess. I love everyone. Hope everyone has a great day. I gotta go get.
We love you. Bye. Okay. The moon was identified with Artemis or Diana, and in some cults, the sun and moon were the eyes of heaven. This may be a stretch, but they did execute Princess Diana. That was a planned execution, which is crazy. And the moon was identified with Diana, so maybe that was some occult way of them showing this. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of a stretch, but
What?
that Princess Diana was executed, and
everyone really thinks she's murdered.
Yeah, and the moon was identified with Diana. Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah. Diana or Artemis.
Princess Diana, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that whole family did that.
Yep.
She was a big thing back in the day until she
Yeah. Artemis is depicted with a crescent moon beneath her feet as if riding in a boat, exactly as you will see Miriam or Mary in Roman Catholic illustrations. The astral king, the sun, and his sister the moon, love you, were the dominant figures that shaped the astrobiological mind. The futility of honoring pagan deities was because their foolish hearts were darkened. Their foolish hearts were darkened. They did not honor or give thanks to the Creator, though his invisible attributes are clearly seen. TUES, or TUES-DAY, Day 3. Yeah, you guys can see the picture. It's the top picture. Okay. THURS-DAY, or Day 3, Day of Two, TIU. Sorry, my dog's hair. Okay. Teutonic Druid Celtic idol. The population of the Angles and Saxons were kept under control by various Druid priest cults. Like any other pagan religion, the population lived in fear and ignorance, while the parasite fed off of them and kept them brainwashed. Druids still worship the sun at Stonehenge every summer solstice. Tyr or Tu was the Norse deity of war, considered the son of Odin or Woden. The French call this day Mardi or Mars Day, after Mars, the Romans' deity of war. Mardi Gras is the French name for Fat Tuesday, still bearing the name of the Roman deity. This festival falls the day before Ash Wednesday, the beginning of Lent, both to be discussed later. Woden's sign, Wednesday, Day 4, Celtic crux symbol. This day comes from another pagan idol's name. Bella, don't move, you're going to scratch me. An elder in Iceland, couldn't stand it anymore. And changed the days back to numbers for that island several hundred years ago. When we say it's Wednesday, Woden or Odin, we are declaring it to be Woden's Day. Considered highly skilled in magic, this Celtic deity was to the Teutonic pagan the husband of Freya or Frigga, which is celebrated by using FRI-DAY as the name for the 6th day of the week. Okay, here we go. Stop it right now. Okay. The Romans honored Mercury on this day, calling it Mercury Dies, or Dies, Mercury's Day. This midweek evening was highly regarded as a night of magic. Druids met to hold hands in a circle, chant, enchant, cast spells, and do it while surrounding a burning cross, the symbol of Woden or Odin. The Celtic crux is a pagan magic symbol. The trifolium clover leaf representing Woden, Frigga, and Thor. Other Druid trinities included Isus, Teutates, and Tyrannus. Anglo-Saxon xenophobia, fear of foreigners, and Druid customs are seen today in the modern Ku Klux Klan. They still call their leaders wizards and use the Celtic term clan, a traditional social unit in Scotland. The word comes from the Greek kuklos, meaning circle. The name Circe or Circe is related to circus or Church. They like circles, cruxes, and sometimes Druid costumes. Did Yahuwah tell us to do this? And then note the pole in the center for the picture underneath. This is all pagan worship. The Klan, a very secretive society, rose up mainly in the South U.S. after the Civil War to reassert white supremacy by terroristic methods. The Druids were very nationalistic, so it was difficult for Rome to conquer them. The only way Christianity could win them over was to absorb their culture. This is called inculturation or syncretism, which I've been learning about here and there in college. Syncretism, the attempt to reconcile or combine differing beliefs in philosophy or religion by uniting them, mixing two or more behaviors together. The expression on the surface indicates there is something concealed. Is this the real reason some Christians meet together on this night? Catholics have always had a novena session on this night, intended for new converts to be trained. Woden's emblem was the Celtic crux, a cross with the circle or the sun. No wonder we see so many pictures of crosses with the sun nimbus behind it and sunsets in Christian art. Not to mention the halos of yellow around the heads of JESUS and the saints. This will be shown to be a worldwide pagan influence. Buddha, Krishna, Ahura Mazda, and Jupiter are just a few found with halos. Christianos, the origin of the word Christian. Christian or Christians is only used a total of 3 times in all of Scripture, and it is only in the Greek translation. The word Christianity is not found. In the ancient setting, it was a term of scorn used by the Greeks to indicate a person was slow or retarded. We get our word Cretan from the Greek word Christianos. A dictionary defines Cretan as a fool and idiot. French Cretan, idiot, from Swiss French, Creston or Christian. We will examine the word Christian and its use in the Greek world later. For now, let it be enough to say that the sect which was established by the true Mashiach was called Nazarene. See Acts 24:5. THURS-DAY or Thursday. Day 5. The Celtic THURS-DAY, the deity of thunder and son of Woden and Freya. The same as Tyrannus, Thor was associated with thunder. The Dutch Donder, or Germanic Donner, one of Santa's reindeer. The Romans honored Jupiter on this day, which was originally Jupiter, meaning Jove's father. Jove corresponds to Zeus. The altar of Zeus, used at every Olympic game, is lit by a torch. The altar is shaped like a T. Thor's emblem was the hammer, secretly interpreted as the letter T, referring to Tammuz, Babylonian Duzu, the son of Nimrod and Semiramis. Zeus was originally pronounced Zeus. And that, I believe, is the symbol for FRIGGA-Day, or FRI-DAY. Frigga, Celtic name for the Great Mother, FRI-DAY, Day 6. Old English Frigga-Day, this was FRI-DAY or FRIGGA-Day. Frigga was the wife of Woden. The fertility concepts associated with this day is very ancient. The Greeks honored Aphrodite on this day, and Romans venerated Venus, Astarte. This day was the Egyptians' day of Isis, depicted with a symbol of the fish on her head. The fish symbol predates the Mitzrites, or the Egyptians, coming from the Philistine cult of Dagon. Judges 16:23 and 1 Samuel 5:2. You've seen images of Dagon portrayed as a sea nymph. You're in the mother of harlots, Babel zone. Fertility in your face, Dagon of the Philistines. The picture they have for Starbucks, or the emblem, that's a thing that is celebrating Freya or Frigga. Okay. Starbucks is proud of their nymph symbol. Dag is Hebrew for fish, and the Latin is Pisces. It was chosen by pagans because a female fish lays hundreds, sometimes thousands of eggs. A symbol of fertility, the Romans believed Venus or Astarte came from the sky in a huge egg, not a saucer. We'll go into more detail when we study the Great Mother, Queen of Heaven, Asherah. Frigga's emblems were also mistletoe and the fish, and is seen today because Roman Catholics inculturated this into avoiding red meat on this day, replacing it with fish. They have the fish fry. Even the word fry is describing a young fish. The Great Mother Magna Mater was universally represented by the fish emblem. The Greek word ichthys, ichthys, spelled iota, chi, theta, upsilon, sigma, spells ixthys, or fish. Ixthys, or fish, doesn't mean Christ. It is Greek for fish. With considerable craft, the fish has become a Christian symbol due to a Greek anagram designed to utilize the Greek anagram ichthys. Here are the symbols. Okay. It's a man-made tradition, and it just spells fish. The use of Christograms or theonyms to stand in place of a name of a deity was a custom used by mystagogues. They encrypted the name. Pagans held back the names of their deities. Other forms used have been ICXC, ESC, IESUS, IESB, and IHS. In the East, they used ICXC. In the West, IHS as the Christogram. Yahusha means Yahuwah, I am your deliverer. The sign of the Mashiach isn't a crux or a fish, but a lampstand or menorah. Revelation 1 and 2, the Hebrew menorah has 7 lamps and represents his body, the 7 assemblies, through which flows the living water. Lamp oil, the laws which give light to the world at Revelation 2:5. He said he would remove the menorah if they did not repent or stop being lawless. Have you noticed any menorahs in any Christian homes or meeting houses? He never threatened to remove any fish. SATUR-DAY, or Saturday, day 7. Now, we talked about the Shabbat, but we didn't talk about the meaning of Saturday and why they named it Saturday. This was the Greco-Roman day of Saturn. Saturn was the Romans' deity of agriculture, corresponding to the Greeks' deity Cronus. This day was dedicated to Saturnus, as was the big party at the end of the Roman year at the solstice, Saturnalia. SATUR-DAY was also called SATUR-DAY. It's spelled either SATUR or SATER day, and is unmistakably linked to other Greco-Roman mythology. The satyr, a goat-legged man, or a goat-legged half-man with horns and pointed ears, was believed to be a drunken, lecherous demon with an abnormal sexual appetite. The 7th day in the festival of Saturnalia was modeled perfectly after the satyr profile. Mischievousness, drunkenness, and orgiastic revelry. As you consider the wild weekends enjoyed today by dating couples and party animals with their mojo drives, it's clear nothing has changed. The Greek letter Y is upsilon, our letter U. Here's a big foundational girder with no rivets, installed by Constantine in the Roman year 321 CE. This 7th day, the commemoration of creation in which we honor the Creator as the Creator, is a temple in time from sunset, FRI-DAY, to sunset, SATUR-DAY, changed to his Sunday under penalty of death by only the authority of a man. All theologians and scholars admit there is no scriptural basis for this change, but it was done by the authority of the CHURCH, or the circus. Shabbat is the sign of the everlasting covenant, indicating who we worship. But most refuse the covenant. This day, which was set apart or dedicated at creation to be a day of complete rest from work, has been superseded by traditions that serve to unite pagans together and overwhelm the beloved of Yahusha, the Nazarene sect. Constantine's historian Eusebius records the emperor's edict: all things whatsoever that was duty to do on the Shabbat, these we have transferred to the WEDNES-DAY. He also recorded Constantine's infuriated words: the cursed wretches who killed our LORD. The Italian Romans executed him, Constantine's people. We will have nothing in common with the hostile rabble of the Yahudim, the Jews. Remember, the Romans executed Yahusha for sedition. Yahusha admitted he was a king, and Kaiser ruled as the king over all the spiritual and secular realm, depicted in the 2 fingers raised by the Pope. No other ruler uses this unique hand gesture. It is also seen as the statue of Jupiter at the Vatican, or seen on the statue. The statue was renamed Peter. The lifting of 2 fingers represented the authority to rule sovereignly over both temporal and spiritual realms. Yahusha's life began at conception. Next time, I will be teaching what's a good Hebrew word for virgin. Once saved, always saved, wormwood, or lies. Casuistry, wormwood, are you a victim? Thesis, antithesis, synthesis. The truth will judge us. And that's where we'll leave off with that one. I couldn't make this one as short because this one had all of the days of the week, and I had to keep all the days of the week together in one video. I hope you guys get to watch the whole video. If you guys haven't seen me do a video on the days of the week yet, I did do one a while back. I apologize if I'm a little off today. My puppy is in heat, and she's too little, and Roscoe's too big, and he's been very, very mean and snappy and growling at people. It's not nice. And trying to jump on me and Bella. So, just hopefully she will be out of heat soon. She's had 3-4 heats, and she's only 9 months old. It's ridiculous. But I love you all. Baruch haba Vashem Yahuwah. Shalom and blessings.